Aloha and welcome to Tutor Form Rewind. Today's topic, Tiered Vocabulary, brought to you by Hawaii Literacy's Adult Literacy Program. A focus on vocabulary. The development of vocabulary plays an important role in a non-native English speaker's language development and acquisition. To help ELL succeed, vocabulary words can be put into three tiers: Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1. Well, what words should I teach? Simple words or sight words that do not need a lot of direct instruction to explain are great for Tier 1. Words used for the PWIM are also great words. Tier 1 words are also sight words. Tutors can use the Fry's sight word list for words to use. Dolch noun sight words will also be a good source. Here are some suggestions for ways to develop Tier 1 vocabulary. Free reading. Use interest books to help get the learner started. Tutors can read books aloud and pick out Tier 1 words to focus on. This is great for learners to hear pronunciation and the cadence of reading. Depending on the level of the learner themselves can pick a book to read out loud. Wayfinding with Google Translate or Google Images. This is words strategy. Learners who stumble on a word they do not know can teach themselves what the word is. They can use Google Translate to help put the word into context in their own language. When Google Translate cannot directly translate the word or the translation isn't helpful, this is how Google Images help put the word into context. The tutor can help the learner search for the word by images, and they can see a picture of it. Tutors can make flashcards of pictures searched to view all the words encountered in tutoring sessions. Tutors can also use the Picture Word Inductive Model, or PWIM. Using Level 1 of the PWIM will help connect words to pictures. PWIM usually depicts everyday items and objects, such as household items or things in everyday life. Sight word flashcards with pictures. You can utilize flashcard with pictures to run through Fry's sight words and make a game of recognizing words. As their Tier 1 vocabulary or their English literacy increases, you can use sight word cards without the pictures. To add an element of fun, you can also search for crossword puzzle worksheets. Some crossword puzzle worksheets utilize pictures for the down and across clues instead of written descriptions, which can be great for beginning ELLs. Tutors can also print rebus stories to further support vocabulary development. Rebus stories have picture representations in the reading passage to help show the reader a word. The magazine Highlights are famous for including a rebus story in their monthly publication. A quick Google search can point you to printable rebus stories. Tier 2 Vocabulary. Tutors should focus on teaching academic word lists. Tier 2 are high utility words that are found in academic texts such as journals, reports, and newspapers. Tutors can select 3 to 4 words to focus on at a time. Too many words can overwhelm the learner. The learner will have to decode the word to extract meaning that makes sense to them. Here are some ways to develop Tier 2 vocabulary. Context cards. Cards can include a question with the target vocabulary word and a simple picture. You would also include a sentence frame to help scaffold the answer. Quick right answers. Tutors will utilize a sentence frame or sentence starter to ask the learner a question to which they write down the answer. With this method, the learner is not expected to write the question. They just write their answers that includes the sentence frame. Tutors, you can modify this by having the learner answer orally or by having the learner use their native language to write in. Modeling answers. Tutors can model answers using sentence stems. Including lots of context clues will help to support the learner. The tutor will prompt the learner by using the target vocabulary. In this case, the word is voluntary. For example, if taxes were voluntary, people would have the chance to choose if they want to pay or not. When paying taxes becomes voluntary, it might make people pay more often because they do not feel forced to do it. Vocabulary graphic organizers. Using graphic organizers is a good way to help the learners see the information in a visual format. Learners are able to make the connections between the word and the meaning of the word either through pictures or sentences and other forms of the word. Learners can keep a binder or folder of all the new vocabulary words to refer to later. At first, tutors should allow the learners to write information in their native language. As they get a better understanding of the English language, you can have them switch to English. Tier 3 vocabulary. Tier 3 vocabulary is content specific. These words would appear in goals that some of the learners are trying to achieve. Tier 3 words really put everything into context for the reader and help to build knowledge and understanding of the domain that they are studying or reading about. For example, for a citizenship exam, a learner would need to know Tier 3 words such as due process, unenumerated, or mercantilism. These words are low frequency and are unlikely to be used outside of the domain. To help teach Tier 3 words, I will be using Tan Hun's model for teaching Tier 3 vocabulary. Hun uses 4 approaches. For example, we'll use the word amphibian. He first provides an image to help the learners access the word. Then he goes on to describe the features. The third approach is to offer a non-example. And then finally, he uses various contexts. Tutors can also create picture flip or flashcards that define Tier 3 words. These cards have the words printed on the front and a picture with the definition on the back to reinforce the vocabulary word. A comprehensive approach to language. Tier 1, 2, and 3 can be taught simultaneously or individually depending on the level of the learner. Level 1 learners are essentially learning Tier 1 vocabulary, but integrating some Tier 2 words can be very helpful. Level 2 learners, or the emerging learners, may benefit from having Tier 3 incorporated into learning, as well as working on Tier 1 and Tier 2 vocabulary. Same with Level 3 or proficient learners. You can focus on either Tier 2 or Tier 3, but for a comprehensive approach to language, you would include all 3 tiers. For example, let's say we have an ELL that is working towards getting their driver's license. You would need to know Tier 1 words such as car or wheel. The Tier 2 vocabulary would get them prepared to know words such as four-way or block. They would also need to know Tier 3 vocabulary such as violation, hazard, or accommodate. Here are some examples of Tier 1, 2, and 3 words. Thanks for watching Tutor Form Rewind. Don't miss out on new Tutor Form Rewinds. Subscribe to Adult Literacy on YouTube.